Gaming of any sort gets me thinking. And when I get thinking, I get playing, and then I want to share my play experience and my thoughts with other people. That's what sparked this whole idea. I want to talk about games so that I can spark a conversation and get other people to think about games. Gaming is such a huge part of my life that I think about it frequently, and I think about how it affects the rest of my life and the rest of the world. So I want to hear back from you. I want to hear what you have to say about gaming. And I'm going to be posting a bunch of questions and my little stories attached to questions, and we'll see how this goes and let me know what you think. I think the best place to start with this is to say that I am a gamer, and I've been a gamer since I was 4 years old. When I was a young kid, I had a lot of friends who played video games, and that's kind of how I developed my gaming life, is by playing with people. But now in my older years, I'm just about to turn 30, and now I tend to find myself playing a lot of games more by myself. So I guess the question at the top of this is, I want to know, are you a social gamer or a solo gamer, and why? Like I said before, I started being a gamer when I was about 4 years old. That's the first time I ever picked up a controller and played, I think it was Ridge Racer, some old game, racing game for the Nintendo, regular Nintendo. It was in my younger years that I really started to game with people. I had a lot of friends who in school, we were just like, hey, let's check out the newest game together. Around when Halo first came out, or a little bit before Halo, when James Bond 007 for the N64 came out, that's kind of when my multiplayer social gaming world evolved. I knew a ton of people who played the first-person shooters, and every weekend my place was like the place to go for video games. We would always just come over, play the 4-player local shoot-'em-up games, and just have a good time. I was always a very social gamer. I found myself playing a lot of Mario Kart, and when Smash Bros. Became a thing, that was like the best thing in the world to me. It was wonderful. I got really into fighting games, really into shooters, a lot of games that demanded you be around people, and I absolutely loved it. The smack talking and everything that comes from before and after a game is something I've always lived for. And in my younger years, I very much was a social gamer. On the flip side of that, I wouldn't often touch RPGs. Chrono Trigger was my first real RPG, first lengthy game, anything that was more than like a couple hours, and it was the first one that I really played through by myself, 100%. I didn't beat the game at the time, I was just a kid and it was a rental, but I played Chrono Trigger a lot, and I always felt bad about it. Not bad like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, but bad like, I would rather be playing with other people. I didn't really even see another RPG again until Final Fantasy VII came out, and that was over at my friend's house, and whenever I went over to his place, it was kind of, why are we doing this? We can't play this together. Let's just go play 007 or Halo or something. But I grew to have a lot of gamer friends, and with these gamer friends came different worlds of gaming, and a lot of them really, really liked JRPGs and grew up with them. So around the time when I was probably a late teenager, I really started to get into JRPGs because I had a lot of friends who recommended them to me. If they're such a great game, I may as well spend the time to sit down and play them. So I started playing them and felt that same bad feeling that I did when I started playing Chrono Trigger, where I'm playing Shadow Hearts 2, I think that was the game, and I feel bad because the people around me aren't playing the game too, or I'm just sitting here playing a game, and I kind of felt like I was wasting my time. Around the same time as playing Shadow Hearts 2, I started to get into World of Warcraft, which is the most single multiplayer game ever. I sat alone in my room frequently, but I was always on, I don't know, what did we use? TeamSpeak back in the day? Something. It was pre-Skype, pre-Discord, everything. It was bad, but we would always play together. And it was another game that if I was playing completely by myself and everyone was offline, I would think, I may as well just, go to bed. Why am I still up? That was my younger years of gaming. I was a very social gamer. I honestly would not hold a candle to a game that required you to spend 40 to 60 hours minimum to get into it. I have actually a friend who frequently would kind of take jabs at me because when I played an RPG, I would just keep spamming through the story to get to the mechanics because I was used to playing platformers, Smash Brothers, first-person shooters where the action is the way the game told you how to play, rather than the story in like narrative text boxes and whatnot. So fast forward a bit to when I was about 25 years old. I noticed that all these recommended games, these JRPGs that I felt bad, all of a sudden stopped feeling so bad. I found it a lot harder to spend a lot of time with my friends that I normally would game together, and synchronizing schedules and everything was difficult, to say the least. I stopped playing World of Warcraft because no one would be able to raid with me just because of my backward schedule, and it was a weird time. But I still had that itch to play, so I kept playing. But I was now playing a lot more JRPGs. I picked up Final Fantasy X for the first time and actually played through it. Funny story about that, I never actually beat Final Fantasy X myself. I got all the way up to the Jekt, the second to last boss, and could not beat him, and had a save point right before him, so I couldn't grind, and then I just watched the ending on YouTube. Yep. So now I find it very difficult to synchronize schedules with people and play games like Overwatch and Mario Kart 8. I didn't feel the same kind of drive to play those games. I find it very hard to synchronize schedules with someone and actually have the time to sit down and play these long sessions of gaming of like Mario Kart and Overwatch and whatnot. When I play those games, I even don't feel the same excitement and drive that I did when I was a kid. Now, Super Smash Bros. 4 is still like the reigning champion for me for games that excite me that are multiplayer. And I still love BlazBlue and a lot of the fighting games that I play nowadays. And I still have that drive for social gaming, but the struggle of synchronizing a schedule with someone and the struggle of getting people together to play is difficult, and online gaming has not made that any easier. Nowadays, I find myself thoroughly enjoying games that I can sit and play by myself for long sessions. I have been working through Bloodborne for probably 60 plus hours, and there's no signs of that slowing down. I'm working my way through Final Fantasy 15 as well, Shadow of Mordor, the new South Park game. Just there's so many games on my list of games I need to beat, and I've taken no consideration into spending that gaming time with other people who might be interested. At the top of this, I asked, are you a social gamer or are you a solo gamer? When I was younger, I was a social gamer 100%, and I didn't touch anything else. And now I am very much more a solo gamer, but would prefer social games. Now, I say social games, and yes, this does include like Facebook games and stuff. Any game that you can play with someone to any degree, I feel like is a social game. And I want to know, are you, YouTube viewer, a solo gamer or are you a social gamer, and why? Let me know in the section below, and I would love to make more of these little opinion pieces to spark questions and like get a conversation going, get people interested.